Um, yeah, bittersweet. Um, would loved to do it a different way, but one wise man once taught me that men plan, but God decides. And so the Almighty decided that it should end like this, and it should culminate like this. And of course, we've got to respect that. Um, Even though there's of course a sense that we've got to congratulate Cape Town City for the victory, and we mustn't forget that because there was a football match that took place, and being the only club that beat us. Um, so congratulations to Coach Eric and Cape Town City. But a big, massive congratulations to this football club. Braboni won't forgive me if I don't mention his name there at our head office. Congratulations to Braboni Mutsepe, to the Mutsepe family, the technical team, the football club, from ground staff, people like Shupi themselves, incredible contributions, the analysts, conditioning coaches, and this incredible group of players. Record after record, incredible season, and very proud of what they've done. This group of players.
Coach Shulule, Coach News from Africa. Speaking about this bittersweet feeling of not going all the way unbeaten, you feel like you had that opportunity when you kept on getting those late equalizers, especially in that game against TS Galaxy. Do you think now the gods are on your side and you finally to do it? Or
It's never been done in South Africa before, and I've kept saying that it's a very difficult thing to do. Of course, when you get into the last match, you start smelling it, you start thinking about it, you start preempting that there is that possibility. Um, but okay, you've got to accept, as I said, you've got to accept that some of the things are through God's divine plans, and you've got to accept. This is. I said to the players, even in the change room after the game, they were sad, and I said, don't forget that winning and losing, they are both imposters, and you got to treat both of them the same. And very proud that we've managed to deliver the most iconic that for generations to come. When Sundowns players do this with their supporters, there will be an iconic meaning to it. They were the first group to win 7 league titles in a row. It will never be done ever again. And so this group needs to be applauded and praised and adulated and celebrated for for rewriting history.
Coach, commiserations on the loss of
Sure, thank you.
Uh, you obviously lost to it. You didn't win the Champions League. Like you said, it's in a season where you win your seventh consecutive World Championship, you break the points total record.
Win the AFL also.
Yes, the AFL as well. Are you worried that these perhaps negative results in the Champions League and now not going invincible? Do you think that maybe it might overshadow the overriding narrative that is progression with the club and what else you guys are able to do?
One thing I've realized, and not just with the media and the public and the fans and just in general, is that I can't control the narrative. It's impossible. Modern society with technology and social media, it's incredibly impossible to control the narrative, and so I don't even try. So um, people will believe what they believe, and people will see what they see. There are so many things I've given up on trying to convince people to see, because I'm just a weird character, and I've accepted that I'm a very weird character. Um, and so if there are those that believe that we are not making any progress, I can't change that. I can't change that narrative at all.
Coach, Kotatsu from Hupala Radio.
Sure, Kotoso.
I have to ask that question that when a player makes a mistake, like what happened today, how do you console him? Because of, I'm thinking that at the back of the mind, he's obviously not in a good space with like what happened after today.
No, he knows I love him. Like I love all my players. We make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I make more mistakes than anyone else. And so it's part of football. It's perspective, you know. If I ask you, what do you see when I lift up this hand? What would you say?
Well, hand,
A hand with five fingers. And if I do this, but there is a difference. And what is the difference?
it's your backhand.
Yeah, but this and the color is different. But if I look at it at the same time as you look at it, I see completely different to what you see, but it's still the same hand. So my perspective is completely different to a lot of people's perspective. When people see mistakes, I see 29 games of incredible effort, and that's the perspective I choose.
And the player, though, I think he's not going to see it the same way as you.
No, he'll definitely see it the same way as me because he'll get the emotions from me. My players know how much I'm with them. I've been with Mtobi Mvala with a lot of things, all of them, all the players. I support them. There's a lot of things you guys don't even know about this group and the connection that I have with this group. So mm, you can rest assured that Mtobi will see the perspective that I see.
Good evening, coach.
Good evening, sir.
Like from the result, congratulations on the
Thank you, sir.
coach. I think in African football and possibly not even as well, you are one of the few coaches that operated a highly technical vanguard, so which makes you quite different as well. But
Thank you.
from your personal perspective, when you're alone, what have you ticked the boxes in this particular season that you know are proud of? I mean, maybe because you're one of the guys that go through stats for stats. What is it that you guys have improved from last season?
Well, I, um, to be honest with you, I haven't really absorbed and reflected on the season. I'm yet to put together the report. I have to I have to watch what 56 games back. I have to do it again. I've already watched each game maybe three times except the TS Galaxy game. The TS Galaxy game is the only game this season I've watched once. Um, but every other game I've watched three, four times. And so I have to watch those games with a much more sober mind, no emotions, no pressure, no stress, and then try to find those conclusions, you know. But I'm very proud of this group. I'm proud of to be their coach, and I'm proud of what they achieved in what was a very difficult season. This season was very, 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 very difficult for us. Injuries, travels, games was tough, but we did very well, and I'm very, very proud.
Jawlani, from listening from coach, when you look at obviously the season that the team has had, teams that have had half the what is it that makes this a special group in terms of what they've been able to achieve in a very stressful season where you not only were competitive, and what do you think this group is capable of in terms of a team that is obsessive about
Yeah, I think there's two very important things. I think Of course, it's the talent. I think they're the extremely talented group of players, and they respect their talent and they work very very hard, and that makes them very very special. But I think also the mentality, the brotherhood that they carry amongst each other. There's a genuine sense of love for each other, and and a sense of appreciation for each other's roles and abilities. So I think that's what really makes them extremely special. I think we can only get better. I don't even think we are at 60, maybe even 65% of our potential. Maybe that's where we are flirting at the moment. We've got so much work to do, and a little bit of our progress has been derailed by the fact that we've had no training time, you know, and and a lot of the players coming in have needed time to train. And last season, the biggest gap was the January window that we had. We had a mini preseason break, and even when we brought new players in, we had time to work. And this season we didn't. We had Fcon, and we didn't even have most of our players with us then. So I think with a good preseason, with a good rest, with good off season and a good finish to the season with the Nedbank Cup final, I think we can then reflect on where we are and where we want to go as a group and as a football club. Sure, honest. Yeah, of course I'm disappointed. I think he's been phenomenal. I think he's just been unlucky with the injuries. He hasn't played so many games in his career, and that caught up a little bit with him. But phenomenal footballer and a phenomenal human being. It's incredible. Uh, um, yeah, he's one of the best players I've coached. Really, from a gift perspective, and still a player that I still think can improve so much more. And that's probably an even scarier thought, that in his first season, with what he's done and how he's performed. Um, but I could say the same about Marcelo Allende. I mean, it's disappointing also not to see him amongst the nominees. I think Sailor has had a good season also, and him also not being part of the defenders at the very least. But okay, you can't have your cake and eat it, can you? You've got to celebrate the nominations of Ronwen, nominations of Skara, who I think has been superb with the Diski especially, the nominations of Tebsa, and yeah, and mine is just, I'm just nominated because I coach such very good players, and I'm just humbled to be in that space. I think if you look at the work that a lot of my colleagues have done, they deserve also a lot of credit, because the work that Stevie Parker has done is incredible. What he's done with the Stelis is something that they've built over years, and they've been stable, and they've supported him throughout. Jose Riviero, apart from him, I like Jose so much. I really do. Every time I meet him, I get a genuine sense of uh, respect. Like a genuine sense of sportsmanship. That he's a fierce competitor, but he's a he's a good person. And I think people like that. I think Ernst Middendorp has done a great job since he's arrived. If you look at the form table since he took over, incredible. Um the TS Galaxy coach has done a good job with that team too. is if you look at the team has improved. Some of the players have gotten better. If you look at even from a competitive sense, Gano at Richards Bay, how he's gotten the team to every game getting better. Musa Nyatama at Swallows, he's been. I watch Swallows a lot, and I really enjoy watching Morocco Swallows play football. So there's a lot of the colleagues that I could say deserve also to be to be nominated, and that just humbles me and gives me a space of of, of, of appreciating my players even more.
Thanks, Roots. Evening, coach.
Winning cancer.
Look, like as an outsider looking into your team, see this season as a season of silver linings. Um, lose the MTN 8, you win the AFL, knocked out of the Champions League, you convincing win against a rival like Chiefs to win the league. As much as you didn't get the invincible tag for this season, but you got the record points. Um, I don't know how do you sum up this season? As much as you said that you still have to watch the games, you still have to, but in terms of how you were able to bounce back from the things that I just mentioned to you right now, how do you view that?
It's it's difficult to say because for every part of the journey there was highs and there's lows and I've appreciated both the same way, you know. Mm, I guess the most important people to ask is the club, is the people who run the football club, is the family, is the board, those are the people to ask how they gauge the season. I see it as a major success. Um, but yeah, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, isn't it? Don't they say that? But I'm proud of this group of players. They've for me they've improved from last season. Last season MTN 8 semi-finals. This season in the finals lost on penalties. The league 70 points last season. This season breaking that to 73 points. Uh, um, Semi-final of Champions League once again, like last season. So it's more or less in the same space. Nedbank Cup quarterfinals this season. Nedbank Cup final. So when I look at the results and purely just based on the results, I see a team that's done better than last season. But that's just my perspective, you know. So and it's a perspective that fills me with a lot of pride and joy.
That's it, well, then. Thanks. Congrats on the
Thank you, so sir.
I mean, for a guy like, I would imagine, a guy like Semi, has been part of your time, part of the team. But just your message to him and the other players who are in this show. How do you support them?
I pay more attention to them than I do to Debza, to Ronwen, to the ones that are playing don't need my attention. Is the ones that don't play, that know how much I love them, and I appreciate their contribution to the group, and they are just as important. In boxing, they say you're only as good as your sparring partner, and they play an incredible role. Players like Semi, and unbelievable attitude, and I can say the same about Brian Onyango, incredible human beings. Riyad Peters, Jody February, these players that don't get to play a lot, but they are part of the team, and they smile and they contribute. They train well. They've got incredible attitudes. So um, I don't have to say a lot to them. I just have to be there for them, and help them to to get better.
you have an interesting project in Mabena.
Yeah,
I think if we look at Pirates, they benefited from that type of risk and reward, giving more opportunities to play. Are the Sundowns fans maybe next season likely to see Mabena play more and more? In England, they say if you are good enough, if you are good enough, you're old enough, and that kind of thing. I mean, clearly there's something there, but from another perspective, we say he can actually become better and improve if he plays. Because
he needs training. Unfortunately, unlike with pirates, pirates have training time. The kids need training, and that's why the most ideal scenario for them was to have Temba Patella with them, and then they could train more with them because the only way you can fulfill your potential is by making mistakes. And unfortunately, at Sundowns, those mistakes are not at training; they're during games. And you could see even today, even with a good performance and his first 90, but but his game is full of mistakes. The game against TS Galaxy, his game is full of mistakes. But that's how youngsters are. The kids need to make mistakes. The only way they learn is by making mistakes and being encouraged to make mistakes, and then you coach, because you can't you can't coach based on uh, hypothetical imagination of a scenario that you just imagine. How I look at developing players, and maybe it's because of my youth background, is we work on what we have and we try to improve the strengths. And the only way to identify the strengths is through the weaknesses. And how do you do that? Is through training time. And the unfortunate part with Mabena, Skara, and a lot of players that come through the Sundowns Academy is, and if and it's worldwide. I mean, Carlo Ancelotti was asked a similar question 2 weeks ago, and he said, "My job is not to promote youth. My job is to win games." In the big clubs, the unfortunate part is the teams play every 2 3 days, and Phil Foden only now this season is shining and getting regular game time, but it's his what is it, fifth, sixth season in the first season exactly. So it takes a bit of time, especially when you are a big club that's playing every 2 3 days, because we don't train. We do recovery and 10 minutes of tactical work, and that's it. It's done.
Thank you very much. Coach,
Yes, sir.
your mentor, person that you put so much love and aspiration for, gave you a chance when you were 19. Unfortunately, after made that top eight, maybe just words of encouragement to come Johnson, because it has had a very difficult time. Maybe words of encouragement to them. Unfortunately, that was unfortunate as well. They qualified for the top eight.
No, I'll do that personally. I won't do it for the headlines and the things. I'll do it if it's genuine. I'll do it personally. I'll definitely give him a phone call.
Coach, when you have a team that's one year perfect and it's been the best team in the league for quite some time now by a margin, what do you look for in terms of improving this team when you go into the market? What type of criteria do you look for? To say, okay, this is what I need to go even better. And what is better for you now? To go unbeaten, or how do you improve?
Unfortunately, that's where the bar is set. The bar, the bar is set from what is this season, and so we next season we can't do anything less than, and it's going to be very difficult next season. So, um, heavy is the head that carries the crown, isn't it? You get blessed with raising the level and trying to get better and better and better and better, but at the same time, the the responsibility that comes with that is even greater. So We'll cross that bridge when we get to it at the beginning of next season.